All right.
Cheers.
So, cheers. Oh, wow.
Damn it, beat me to it. Damn it.
So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about, obviously we're going to keep talking about the Idaho murders, but we're going to talk about possible defenses that Kohberger has or what the motive may have been.
Right.
And we do have a special guest today. He's hiding, because he felt, oh, there he is. He's the elevator. Wow, I have one in my bar. Did you know that?
I need an elevator.
You're not doing the elevator. There's not enough freaking room,
I
John.
need an elevator in my bar.
You need a bar.
I need a bar.
So Pete brought us a beer last time. The beer was really good. We actually appreciated it.
Yes, we did.
That was Voodoo Ranger.
Yep.
So try it. Check our last show. You can see it. But Pete's here. We're going to get a civilian's perspective on some of the things we've got to say. But anyway, come on back. We're going to do a quick show about what possible motives and or defenses Kohberger may have. Today we're going to be discussing some of the possible motives and or defenses Bryan Kohberger may have for these Idaho murders. I don't think he's got a shot in hell in any of this.
But, I mean, would you, if you were an attorney, defend him?
As an attorney, yes, because that is our justice system.
Right.
So that is, there's a lot of cops get really annoyed at defense attorneys. They don't understand the fact that that is our justice system. People are entitled to
a good quality
vigorous
defense.
But it's got to be ethical.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you've seen on TV and all the time, that lawyers will say, tell me what happened, don't lie to me, but if you don't want me to know, keep some facts out.
Right.
Tell me something you don't want me to know.
Right.
Because an attorney cannot willfully and intentionally allow a lie to be told to the court.
Right.
So don't tell me if you did it, but tell me what happened.
Yeah. So speaking of offenses and defenses, LT, Georgia TCU, you giving me points?
Negative. I'm not even betting.
Straight up win-loss bet?
Dude, I've lost enough freaking...
Come on, it's two
Because
cigars,
of these
bro.
scrub-ass teams that didn't...
One in a row.
No, two.
Two in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, Harmony.
Harmony.
That's right.
And TCU, Michigan.
Jesus, Michigan.
So
What the hell?
are you
going to owe me a cigar for the Giants, New York football Giants?
New York football
baby.
Giants, probably. So are you a Georgia fan or not?
Michigan. I mean, New York and Michigan. Right.
Are you a Georgia fan or not?
I am.
But you're not
we
gonna-
are going to win.
But you're not going to bet on it.
Negative.
All right.
Because here's why.
Okay.
I do not want my Georgia Bulldogs to have the unbelievable possibility of losing. And it just seems like that the last two bets I've made on football were losers. So, no, I'm not betting on it. No.
Did you bet on are
No.
losers?
So you think
Yeah,
that
Michigan.
you think that your bet causes them to lose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, here's a funny story about that real quick. Georgia-Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Everybody picked Georgia to win.
Right.
Not big. 6 points. Whatever.
Close game.
Halfway through the game, now I've got all my Georgia regalia on.
Right.
I mean, hat, freaking
Underwear.
No, but I've got
Codpiece.
everything, right? So,
Codpiece.
yeah, codpiece, yeah, because I wear one of those all the time. Where does he get this bullshit?
Dr. Libra mask.
Yeah, with the Georgia on it, the bulldog right here. So halftime comes around, and I'm going, that's it. I run in, and I already know this because it's happened to me like 3 different times. I go in the bedroom, and I tell my daughter's boyfriend, I'm like, that's it. It's all coming off. And he's like, what? And I said, I'm going in the room, and I'm changing. And he goes, out of your Georgia stuff? I said, yes. I went and changed my shirt, changed my freaking hat, everything else. And what happened in the fourth quarter? 14 points down, we come back, we win the game. I'm telling you,
So you
it
not
always
being a
happens.
fan is better. Maybe they don't want you.
Oh, no, me not
But the
wearing
worst
all the
thing is-
bullshit.
He went in and put on all his Ohio State stuff.
Oh, is that what happened?
Because he didn't know who was going to win, so he had both.
I'm sorry, if you check
That
the
didn't
tape,
happen.
The only thing I heard was, we've got him in a codpiece and a Nacho Libre mask. He goes running into the bedroom, talks to his girlfriend's boyfriend, and says, "That's it. It's all coming off."
That's exactly how I heard it too.
And that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so
And I came out, and he went, hoo, hoo, hoo. He was throwing dollar bills. I don't know what happened. It was crazy. Yes.
So
it was
before we
crazy.
go into the motives and defenses, let's talk about this year's officer fallen. Unfortunately, we've already had one officer killed in the line of duty, and that was on January 2nd of this year.
Yeah.
It was a police chief, Justin McIntyre from the Brackenridge Borough Police Department in Pennsylvania. He was shot and killed during a pursuit of a wanted suspect. This guy was wanted on probation, violation of probation for weapons charges, and he ran from the cops on a previous stop, and they caught up with him, foot pursuit, and they were tracking him, and he ended up shooting at law enforcement, fatally wounded the chief, and injured another officer. And that's the first officer of this year passed in the line of duty.
And what happened to the suspect, though?
Oh, he was killed.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
yes.
And
thank you.
hold on, before we do our salute, which we always do, I see all of the news all over every single channel, every single news juncture in this nation of ours, reporting about the Buffalo Bills player who passed out, collapsed, and had to be revived on the field. God bless him. I'm glad he's doing better, and I'm really glad that they saved his life. And God bless you, young man, and I hope you come back and play football. I'm not taking anything away from that.
Lamar Hamlin.
That's all over every single news juncture. But do we see this poor soul who died doing his job?
No.
Any of the poor souls in law enforcement dying? No. Any of the poor souls, the soldiers dying? No. You
Bottom
don't
of the
see
page.
any of that.
Yeah.
Bottom of the page, or he gets a 15-minute blurb in the nightly
And
news,
in the
and
local
that's it.
in the
Gone.
local news.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well, that's not sexy. Now, if you have an unauthorized discharge in a public area, front page.
Exactly.
front page,
Yeah.
and it's all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or they shoot one in a training accident or something.
So, all right, it's for Chief McIntyre. We salute you.
God bless.
Nice.
And prayers to your family and all your loved ones.
All right, John. Back to you, John.
So, Camille and I have been going back and forth on motives.
Yes.
And it gets quite heated because he...
Because I'm right and you're wrong. But besides
Well, no,
that,
he tends to change what he said earlier.
No, you think?
It's amazing.
me?
If you go back and check...
It's not changing. It's reassessing.
but then,
Pete, can you run out there and get my great big, huge, 6-foot-long stir stick, shit stirring stick? Because he needs to take it home with him because he's the biggest shit stirrer in the entire
if
world.
you go back and look at our previous shows,
Yes.
okay, you will see that Camille said this was a homeless vagrant,
I think I used the word transient.
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 Okay.
And you're right. That's exactly what I said.
Right.
Transient in nature. That's
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
So now he's saying, well, no, I said it's someone who had no contact with these people.
But
no
it could be
previous contact.
both.
But it could be.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so now I thought it was a stalker. I will say it was a romantic type theory.
Spurned lover.
Spurned lover or secret admirer.
Right.
What did I say?
Okay, you didn't.
You just sat back and watched us argue.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that. DLT.
So now
You're wrong if you don't play.
that's what she said.
So I
To
admit,
you, maybe.
I will throw it out there. I admit I was 100% wrong about the transient, the homeless.
Oh, my
but
God.
I'm still.
I gotta put something on the show. He just admitted
Time
he
and
was
date, time
wrong.
and date.
Holy
but
shit.
I'm still holding on to the fact that there was zero connection between this guy.
Oh, nice. I will edit that out. Don't worry, that'll be edited out.
Zero connection between this guy and the victims. They weren't lovers. He doesn't know.
I'm not saying they were lovers. What my
Well,
point,
let me finish my sentence here. I don't believe that he knew them whatsoever. I think it was he picked this house or these people, and that's his target. No other connection. That's my other half of it.
Okay, hold on a minute. Does anybody smell cum?
I ain't gonna leave it in.
Right?
thanks, Chris Taylor.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. So now, my theory is when I said secret admirer. Mm-hmm. Okay, I did say possibly a spurned lover, meaning someone who tried to pick one of the girls up at the bar or
Right.
something like that. Okay.
Thought there was more to it
Right.
or something. I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was either that or a secret admirer, meaning someone who had a crush on these girls, one of these girls. They had no idea who the hell he was, but he was just obsessed with one of them.
Right.
That's my theory as to, because why did he pick them?
Right.
That he had to have a reason to pick them. Now there is a theory out there that he's what they call an incel.
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, that's someone who is intentionally celibate.
Okay. Oh, I have heard that. Okay.
I have the pictures of the victims up here, and they are absolutely 100% beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, just beautiful.
So I mean, he could have seen them on campus,
the
at a
ladies.
grocery store or whatever. Okay, and said, "That's my wife to be."
Right.
Okay, and so.
But that would also prove my part of it. If he never made any approach, that's still no connection.
No. Oh, well, then we could both be right.
Right.
Amazingly. I wasn't saying that he was
Both be right and both be wrong.
No, right. What I'm saying was it was someone who was obsessed with one of these girls. Is my opinion.
And if he gave us, we hope that he gave a statement to law enforcement,
no
because
idea
that's
if he did.
probably the only way we're going to know.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So
but
that.
you may be able to find their phones and his phones
Right.
together
Yeah.
once or twice.
And during the trial and the pre-trial, we'll start learning more.
So what
and
do
more
we
information.
think, guys? Let me wrangle it back in here.
Okay.
What do we think? Camille, I'll start with you, only because it's John's story, and I'll let him finish with what his thoughts are. But, Camille, what do we think the motive or his motive is for committing these heinous crimes? What do we think that is?
I feel that this guy, for whatever reason, for his broken brain, for his just craziness, I feel that he wanted to know and feel what it was like to kill somebody. That's
Wow.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that.
Hold on, you'll get your chance.
So this guy was a criminal justice PhD student. He was teaching. He put out some a Reddit survey which asked people how, like, emotional connection to committing crimes, and I think through his whack job way of looking at things, I think that he wanted to dive so far into it that he would not know on the outside what it was like. So he actually had to step forward and end up killing somebody. And I'm going to take that a step farther.
The same theory that, why you should be shot with a taser to carry a taser.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
To
exactly.
know how it feels.
Yes.
So do I understand you? To his mind, he has done nothing wrong. He's just gathering information.
He's researching.
Yeah,
No,
he's doing research.
no, I think he knows the difference between right and wrong. I don't think he's insane. I think he just wanted to know what it was like to murder somebody and to see if he'd get away with it.
All right, so before I go to John's thoughts on the motives, let's do our beer moment.
Yeah. Before we get into the BS part of the show.
Oh.
Oh, he went there. He went there.
Well, why don't we just take an all-day vacay?
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, what a segue. This all-day vacay is a
You want me to move this
session wheat
closer?
ale And it is brought to us. I don't know who the manufacturer is because it doesn't say. Founders. Sorry, it's Founders. Yes. Founders all day.
Is this a wheat ale? Oh my God, I love wheat
it's a
ale.
Session wheat ale. Yes.
Look at that beautiful color.
Yes. And we got this at Kenny's Grocery, located at 1792 and French Avenue in beautiful downtown Orange City.
Gorgeous, beautiful.
Well, we'll go over that in a few with the sponsors. Nothing like an extra shout out because they deserve it. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that is a really beautiful drinking beer. It's cold, nice. It's in the fridge, but it's clean and crisp. And you said it's an ale. It almost tastes like a lager, which John, you know about lagers.
Yes,
it is a Session wheat ale.
Yeah, I love wheat beer.
Yeah,
I love wheat
I'm gonna
beer.
have to look up what does that mean when it says it's a Session.
Oh, is it Session or Saison?
No, it's Session.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to get an 8.5. I love that beer. That is
we're
really
getting better. We're getting better on our beers here. Thanks, John.
They're really
Good job. Good. What's your rating?
It's not bad. I'm not really feeling a lot of flavor or crispness.
Pete, you want to try a little sip?
I gave him some.
You know,
okay.
I'm not a drinker.
I know you're not.
I have no frame of reference to say whether
I got you. That's okay.
All of a sudden, Pete says it's hoppy.
Well, I learned that from you.
Every beer has hops,
I'm
so
going to give this a 6.5.
really, I am enjoying the hell out of it.
It's a smooth drink, not crisp, not flavorful.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 7.5, so right in the middle. I like it. I would definitely drink a few of these.
And that's a light drinking beer. It
is.
That's
yeah.
good at a beach
Yeah,
beer.
like
That's
yep, absolutely.
That's
And
vacay all day.
right. It is a vacay all day.
It's a tall boy.
Who doesn't love a tall boy?
All right, so
Ryan,
yep.
the research department just kicked this in. Session is basically an adjective used to describe a beer that is lower in alcohol, generally under 4 or 5%, higher in the refreshment.
Thanks to our viewers for sending that information.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Thanks, research department. We appreciate that. Wow.
And it is
This is coming in now.
and it is 4.6. So
Yeah. Look at that.
Like Camille, I have good facts.
Oh. I will stick with.
Wild speculation.
I will stick with speculation. Speculation has been my friend.
Okay, now let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You were talking about why you think what his motive was, or what his feeling was. Why did he commit these murders?
Yes.
What leads you to that? Because I'm going to tell you what leads me to my theory that you're correct.
Because the day and age that we have now, with social media, with everybody talking to everybody, with podcasts as awesome as ours.
Why'd you look at Pete when you said that?
I was burping, but I didn't want to burp in.
Yeah.
So the new guys right there. We get yes here.
Now he smells good.
There's been that I've seen. Nobody said, "Oh my God, that guy was hanging out at the house at a house party. That guy was doing this, and this guy sent a message and blah blah blah." None of that, and we would have heard that by now. And he's in his
not with the Moscow Police Department, because they're doing the right job,
Right,
and they're keeping things quiet.
and that's why I'm only speculating.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, you
Okay,
brain fart.
I'm going to give you a...
Can I let me finish what I also had to say is I'm sorry.
Start over.
I wanted to tell you about why he picked them is I think that he realized because he lives in a college town that college students aren't as secure and safety conscious as regular folks. We lock our doors. My son, I've been to his off-campus housing several times. He's never locked his door. He doesn't lock the door when he comes home to us. So I think he understood the campus life, and I think that he realized that they were not as safety conscious as just going out to a family where the locked doors, alarms. Probably knew that there was not an alarm on this house.
I understand that, but I still think he had to choose a target. I understand why you're saying he chose that as a target. The security wise, it would be more easy to do that, easier.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a reason he selected them, and I do think it was some sort of obsession with one of the girls.
Okay, and that's fine.
But here's why I think he was doing it, because he wanted to know what it felt like to murder someone.
So you're agreeing 100% with me, John.
I am.
100%.
I am. And there's a couple of reasons. Okay, number one. Okay, the roommate who watched,
Right.
who saw him,
Yep.
he had to see her.
Yes. Well,
Well, he didn't have to.
Well, we're pretty sure. I'm going to assume that.
Yeah.
I mean, she made an audible sound.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Why did he not kill her? Because she wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, I agree.
Or you ever go in a room to look for something and you don't see it even though it's right there?
Well, I'm not 78, like. But anyway.
All right, so I'm going to give my opinion.
Well, I took a lot of time. So, John.
No, he gave his opinion.
all
I'm going
right,
to give my
I
opinion.
didn't want you to be short of
I
your
think
time.
that he saw them either at a party or a bar or somewhere else. He was attracted to one or two of them. I think he ended up following them several different times and saw where they lived. I think that he had finally got up enough nerve to go to the house and either then chickened out and was
not
too
enough nerve to
afraid
talk to him.
to knock on the door and have one of them come to the door and introduce himself or introduce himself at the bar. And then he said, you know what? And it kind of ties into what you guys were saying. Let's see if I can break into this MFer and go in here and get with one of these girls. And I think once he got in there, he had his knife. He's like, okay, if things go bad, I'm going to take care of business. But if not, hey, maybe I'll get lucky. I just think
Maybe
that
she'll fall in love with me.
I just think that maybe he had an attraction to one or multiple of them, of the young ladies. And who knows? He could have been homosexual, or maybe he's attracted to the guy. I mean, who knows?
Well, the guy didn't live there, so I don't know if
He could have seen him go there. He could have followed him there. But anyway, that's my thoughts, is that there was an attraction to one or two or three of these young ladies, and that he went over there thinking that he was going to hook up, and then he lost his nerve to just make normal contact and committed the crime. That's just my thoughts.
Does our research department have a theory on this?
No, I don't have a theory, but I do have a question. Just in y'all's experience, how often does it just completely go 180 like that? Because you're making a pretty big leap
Yeah.
from getting busy to now I got to kill the bitch. I mean, what
Like I said, I think he lost his...
speculating that he's unstable to begin with?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think there's a speculation there. I think we're pretty certain. We all agree he's unstable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's got a broken brain. He's not insane, but he's got a
So
broken
you're
brain.
not with full deck, then perception
So
is money.
it's sort of that thing like, oh, I want her. I can't have her. Nobody will have her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fantasy is never as good as reality. He builds it up in his mind.
Right.
And
she's gonna love me back. She's gonna love me. She's gonna love me. And then I can't even go knock on the door.
She's rejecting him.
And I think that he has seen these young ladies at various different campus events, bars, so on and so forth.
Because
of the
Right.
proximity.
And I just think that he has grown such a passion for one or two or all three of them that he said, man, I've got to go over here and I've got to make this happen. And I just think he lost his nerve either on the way over there or once he got there, and he said, screw it, I'm breaking in, and if I can't have her, nobody can. Or them.
The brain trust here is, what are we saying, 75 years? 60?
Yeah, something like that.
75?
Yeah.
So, have you guys ever worked or heard of a case where that was the thing? You discovered that there was sexual intention that decided to just turn violent and flip to murder?
Not in the department that we worked for, but yes, there are documented cases where that has happened.
We did have a cold case from '82 that was reopened, and the suspect.
before I was on the job, because I would have solved it.
The suspect, it was solved. The suspect was a homosexual, and he would have sex with his victims and then murder them. And I don't know if that is because he never gave a statement. It was because he was angry about his homosexuality or what it was. But he, several times, because he killed one in the city where we worked and then several up north. And ultimately what he did is he brought men home or to where he was and had sex with them and then murdered them.
Well, that's not exactly what I was talking with Bryan.
But it did turn.
Yeah.
You have a sexual relationship, and then it turns to violence.
Sure, but Ronnie's is speculation that this was an attraction that just flipped and turned him around.
No, it's more just the fact that why did he pick that house? I understand what you're saying, college students, but it could have been any college house.
But it could have been because there's a lot of where my son lives. There's a whole row.
Right, but why that house? And it's because my theory is it's because of one of those girls he was obsessed with.
Now, what? Unless you were going to say something else, let's talk about defenses.
Well, hold on, because I do want to say something else.
Sure.
Basically building on your point that he just wanted to know what it felt like to kill. Okay, I saw an interview of Dennis Rader's daughter. Do you know who Dennis Rader is?
Yeah, the BTK killer.
BTK killer.
Don't try me, John.
I tried. One of his criminology instructors at DeSales College in Pennsylvania was actually friends with Dennis Rader.
Really?
Yes.
Because that was in Kansas.
Correct.
Yeah.
But so this teacher maintains a contact with Dennis Rader.
Interesting.
But for her job,
right?
She teaches criminology and all that stuff. Okay, so Dennis Rader's daughter believes Kohberger has contact with Rader.
Really? That's interesting. Defenses. If you were his defense attorney.
It's going to be really hard to overcome the DNA, but here's the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the witness, the other resident, saw this at 4:00 in the morning.
In the dark.
In the dark and all that stuff. Okay, when was the 911 call?
It was like 10 or something, wasn't it? It was late.
She went back to bed.
Yeah. So you're going to destroy the witness.
Yes.
Because what she heard
and ignore the DNA
did not sound like a crime scene.
She's going to say I'm sorry, go ahead, Ronnie.
Because what she heard from what I've listened to didn't sound like a crime scene. So she said, "Okay, well maybe they're just having rough." I'm thinking, the way she might think, maybe they're just having rough sex. Maybe they're just, okay, well whatever, and I'll just go back to bed. Screw it. She went back to bed.
So you think she thought that was whoever's lover leaving after...
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, or a one-night stand or whatever,
Safe word was yelled.
Yeah, and she just said, okay, well, screw it. Because, my God, who thinks somebody just killed 4 people in that next room or the next 2 rooms?
I mean, Occam's razor is not even on that at all.
It's so far from, what might have happened. I mean, she just like, screw it, I'm going to bed.
75 years law enforcement, as a citizen, we have that, we have to go check it out. What the hell happened? Do you have that same need to go check it out?
You live with a roommate.
Yeah, I don't care if he lives or dies, so I'm fine.
So if you wake up at 4:00 in the morning and you see somebody walk out of the house, are you going to check?
A reasonable person would say, well, that sounds different. If for no other reason than to knock on the door and say, hey, keep it down, I'm trying to sleep, you would make some form of contact.
You'd think.
Yeah.
You'd think.
So I mean, I think that's his only grasp at a defense is it took 8 hours or thereabouts to call 911.
I'm sorry to interject. The only reason I would not check, and I don't know if this goes into something you guys were talking about, is if the other person were known to me. Oh, that's the boyfriend.
Okay, I got you.
Right,
That wasn't his first time.
Oh, that's Bobby.
Yeah.
If he had been there,
he works early. That's why he leaves.
Then she's like, oh, it's just the weird kid.
Yeah.
and then she goes back to bed.
So
It's the
Just a
peak.
meal.
so they have to prove that this guy brought that sheath to the house. I'm going to say prove that he brought it. He may have dropped it somewhere else, and they brought it in. And they're like, hey, maybe they're like,
Well, and that's why in the
I want to show the
PCF
crime scene real quick. This is them collecting evidence outside of the home of the four victims.
If I'm the defense attorney, I'm attacking every piece of evidence. Okay,
Well, absolutely.
so I drive back. So what? Okay,
Well, and that's why circumstantial evidence with real evidence
right.
is critical, and why in the PC affidavit they went so far as to say this is his car, this is his phone.
Right.
We have reasonable proof that his car and phone were in the proximity of.
Proximity.
Hey,
Proximity,
question. While you're
absolutely.
talking about that part, just real quick, on this picture here, we see that it's got the parking level, second floor and third floor. Do we know where the victims resided? Were they on the third floor?
They were on the second and third floor.
Okay, so both.
The two victims, or the two other residents who were not victimized, lived on the first floor.
Right.
Okay.
So he,
okay.
as far as we can tell, he never went to the first floor.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know if our listeners knew that. I did not know that, so I wanted to clarify. Okay,
So if
good.
I'm the attorney, I'm looking at this and saying that there's only one small, minuscule piece of evidence that puts me no fingerprints,
right,
no actual ID, because she
Right.
said that there was
Bushy
a
eyebrows is not an
athletic
ID.
right,
And here's
bushy
the
eyebrows
knife.
and athletic build. One small piece of evidence. Yeah, my client lost his K-bar knife somewhere on the street down the road, and she must have picked it up.
Yes, but that's why circumstantial evidence is still evidence.
It is. Yes.
Okay, because when you have an overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence and that one small piece of actual evidence, putting his DNA inside, in the middle of that crime scene.
In the middle of where it actually you got a body.
Right. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So here's what they have to prove on that, ladies and gentlemen that are listening, is they have to prove that Bryan was never invited and or lived or was inside this residence legally at any time, and that he didn't cut himself and leave some blood, DNA or whatever. They have to be able to prove that he was not invited inside that residence, because if he was, and his touch DNA or his blood or anything was inside of there, and he was a normal visitor or a lover or anything else, then they got to get past that. So hopefully they will. Obviously, the roommate's going to say, hell no, this guy that I know of has never been here, but
Well,
they still have to prove that.
But where the DNA was located on the sheath is critical.
It is.
If it was just a blood droplet on a windowsill or something of that nature, yes, you're absolutely right. But this knife sheath was in the middle of the crime scene, the actual
Right.
scene of the crime.
They still
Now, we
have to
should-
prove that he was never invited into that residence, because he could carry that knife all the time.
Yeah,
and he cut himself
and-
pulling it out to show somebody.
And we should tell everybody that the murder weapon that we know of has not been located yet.
Right.
there you go.
Well,
Yeah.
but again, I mean,
Well, you guys
that
just had
we
a
know.
picture of it, though.
Yeah, and that
wasn't
picture.
the actual nut weapon.
Clarifying for people who missed the last episode, that's not the actual
That is
knife.
not the
That's
actual
just a
knife.
picture of a good picture of a K-bar knife.
And if he still has it in his possession, he's an idiot.
Oh, right. So they could go as far as doing the Jodi Arias defense when she claimed, "Oh, I was at the house and he was murdered by somebody else,
Yeah.
and I left because I was afraid for my life."
Yep.
And I was cut during that confrontation, and I was lucky to get out of there alive.
But it happened to be the sheath of a
No,
knife that is exactly the same as the murder weapon.
Right. So
Your DNA is inside.
No. So this murderer came in, barged into this house, and I was trying to make whatever with this girl, and he pulled out his knife and he dropped the sheath and he stabbed her, and I was trying to fight him and he cut me, and I'm like, oh my God, she's dead, and I ran out of there, fear for my life. I don't know what happened.
He better have some cuts on him other than a little scrape on his outer arm.
Well, he obviously has a cut from
No, it's not a cut. It's a little scrape. It looked
whatever
like a little
it
scrape.
is that left that. I was afraid people.
I don't know.
All right, so my
think-
defense, or my thoughts on his defense, are going to be one of two, and I got to pick one of two. He's either going to claim insanity, because a lot of the shit that we found out about him kind of leans that way.
Right.
But again,
Not total, but somewhat. Hold on. Or he's just going to dumb me up and say, prove your freaking case.
Right.
And he did not give a statement. So we'll see. We don't know if he gave a statement and if he did what it was. So
I think he's going to try and outsmart, or he thinks he's going to outsmart law enforcement. I'm like seeing Criminal Minds right now,
Okay.
where he's just, I'm smarter than the cops. I'm smarter than the FBI. You don't know what you're doing.
which is kind of what I'm saying too on my second part.
So
which
is he going to defend himself?
No.
No.
Like
no,
that guy with
no,
the Christmas or the
No.
the parade?
No. But he's going. I think he will talk. I think he will be able to. He thinks he can overcome any evidence the police will throw at him.
And the thing is, besides the circumstantial stuff, there's only one thing that is physical evidence.
Right, but that's critical.
It is critical.
It is very critical.
And the thing is, you've got to.
In conjunction
Right.
with all the.
But again,
O.J.
they have
Simpson-
to prove he was never invited into the
O.J.
house.
Simpson, there was a shit ton of blood of his at the scene, and he was acquitted.
That was not based on evidence.
It was
that
emotional.
Yeah, it was an emotional.
Hence
acquittal.
the jury.
Well, it was based on evidence, but not hard
No.
evidence like this.
Well, they did have a lot of his hair, his blood,
Right.
but the defense was able to bring it into an emotional.
Unfortunately, the biggest problem was in the OJ case. They, based on political correctness, they got Mark Furman to admit he failed to tell the absolute truth while on the stand.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't believe him for this, you can't believe him for anything.
Right.
Well, not only that, but OJ was over there all the time. It was his freaking ex-wife. So all of the evidence that they found on scene was like, okay, well, he used to.
Well, one of the big mistakes is
Raul Goldman's blood on his shoes.
right,
Not
yeah.
that part. I'm talking
But
about with
one
her.
of the big mistakes, and I tell my students this all the time: do not put anything on the body, because they grabbed a blanket from inside the house and they put it on to Nicole Simpson. Well, prove that the hair that's on her didn't come from the blanket. You
So
can't.
many mistakes made in that case, but Oxford PD.
Moscow.
I'm
PD.
sorry, my bad. Moscow PD, jam up freaking job. Oh my
From all
god!
appearances that we've read, absolutely.
What a
they've been
great
kicking ass.
freaking job! And
Yep.
hats off to you, ladies and gentlemen of the Moscow PD. Oh my God!
We
What
should send 'em a
great
sticker.
freaking job, man!
We
What a
sent 'em
great
too.
job.
We send them too.
And a business
In the
card.
middle of this investigation, they're opening this up. What the hell is this? Survivor in the Package?
Hell yeah!
So, Pete, what do you have to say about this?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you for that
hold on.
insightful.
From a civilian's point of view, what do you think his defense might be? Just give us off top of your head. What do you think, brother?
The only thing I was saying is for his defense of, no man, I was there and things just got crazy and I'm lucky to get out alive. Is your it's thing that he said that immediately? That's his statement that we don't know.
No, I think that's going to come out in court.
Yeah.
That's my immediate defense for that. If I just made it out alive, I am screaming that to everybody I know the moment it happens. So you got that. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that was 6 months ago. This is the first time we've heard this
Well, that's why I mentioned the Jodi Arias, because she changed her story 3 different times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I think there's a possibility, and I'm just basing on what we're saying. I don't know why. The thing that strikes me is why the roommate didn't check. And that, to me, just feels like this guy is somehow known to her.
I think that's a legitimate question. I don't think it will exonerate him, though.
She could have possibly been in a dream state. If she was in Twilight, she just thought, okay, cool, you get up, you go to the bathroom, you get back, you wake up in the morning, you go, wait, did I?
And
did
guys,
I have a drink? What the hell? And then you don't know. That could possibly be happening.
And guys, if there's any echo when Pete is giving his commentary, we apologize. No. We just
Pete
didn't.
always sounds
God damn
echoey.
it, Pete.
We just did not have a 4th mic for the show, and I apologize for that. And
Or a chair.
yeah, and the damn chair is too
He's
short.
in the kid's
so
chair.
I was not.
Broke on the way up.
We were not prepared, so I apologize. But hey, let's give a shout out to our sponsors real quick, because these guys are what makes this show happen, and we really appreciate
Hell
it.
yeah.
We have Kristen and Tom Clem Realtors from Exit Advantage Realty, and they were absolutely amazing. Guys, if you want to buy or sell a home in the Central Florida area, you want to contact them, and all their information is down below in the info below. If you're ready to cash out of your house, you just want to get the hell out of it, move on, and go on to bigger and better things, or whatever you want to get with Clement and Company Property Investments. Their number is on the screen there, and it's also down below. They can help you out with that, and that's Tom Clem, who is and I forgot to mention this last show, and I apologize, Tom, who is a veteran Marine and also a full-time law enforcement officer here in the Central Florida area, still out there kicking ass and doing a great job. And Steve with ARackAbove, www.ARackAbove.com. This rack goes in your garage. It will hold 2,000 pounds of your shit.
Whoa.
And you can...
My junk.
His junk
My
and my
junk
shit.
is
Wow.
2,000 pounds of junk.
You can drive under it. You can walk under it. It goes up above in the upper part of your garage, and you can park your car under it. It gets all of those Christmas decorations, whatever else you have, up in a rack above, and hence the name. And you can easily access it from both sides. It is absolutely an amazing invention, and Steve came up with it on his own.
Go, Steve.
And yeah, Steve is amazing.
Does it
He's
attach to your
such a
walls in
great
the
guy.
garage?
It doesn't. You know what's nice is it's freestanding. It's got supports on each end and one in the middle. And if you want to move, you take it with you. You do not have to permanently affix it to your garage. Good point, John. Thank you.
Right.
And Kenny's Grocery, we already talked about that. If you can't find a beer or a wine at Kenny's, it ain't worth drinking, because these guys are absolutely amazing. Over 500 craft beers and wines, 1792 in French Avenue in Orange City, the great metropolis of Orange City. Go visit these guys. We all know them personally, the owners, and they are absolutely fantastic folks. Thank you, sponsors. We appreciate you very much. Thank you.
So, last comments, LT.
I think that this guy is a severe whack job. And if he doesn't take the I'm a whack job defense, I think he's an idiot, because he's going to be found guilty of this.
I don't think he will take the I'm a whack job. I think he may plead guilty.
Such an asshole, John.
But I think he thinks he's smarter than law enforcement.
Yeah, I agree.
And he will be a case study for criminal profilers for a
Just
long
remember,
time.
that was my second one, so y'all don't, hold that against me. And there was no cigars bet on this, because he'll say 3 weeks from now, Camille will say, "Oh, we bet a cigar on that, didn't we?"
Yeah, with that cigar, and that's not what I bet, but no, I'm saying it is, so I'm right.
Because he's got
I'm
that
right.
big shit stir stick that he likes to. So yeah, it's huge. It's like a boat paddle.
So I agree with you, John. Unfortunately, I think
Because I'm right?
no. Well,
Most of the time.
No,
you agreed that I was 100% right. I think he's going to pull it, because you said BTK, Dennis Rader. Dennis Rader pled guilty, and I think that this guy is going to plead guilty, ultimately, and give a proffer, and because
And
he's going to realize
beg
that
for his life.
and to save himself from the death penalty.
Yeah, save
that's what I
himself.
think. That's what I think is going to happen.
Pete,
That's what I was going to ask, is to what end of pleading guilty? But
Yeah, save his own life.
Idaho
Yeah.
has a death penalty.
absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Hey, Pete, we can't thank you enough for the beer on last show and for showing up for this show. We really appreciate it, brother. You got to make this a more often thing. We love having you. I'll try to get a stool or a bar stool that actually fits.
Some phone books.
Yeah, and a microphone.
Right. I can bring my own mic, but yeah, right now I feel like my feet are swinging down here.
Oh, so you feel like John and Camille. Feet swinging. They're like this on the bar stools because they're like 5'2". No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we appreciate you, Pete. Thank you very much for showing up because at Surviving the Badge,
we still got your
6.